My name's Kristine McKenna. I'm here in David Lynch's sound studio in Los Angeles, and we're talking about his exhibition in France and the catalog. We're going to go through the catalog for you.
And Kristine has been doing interviews with me since Blue Velvet.
No, 1980.
1980?
Yeah.
So what were we talking about the first time?
You were in prep for Elephant Man.
So it's great to talk to you again, Kristine.
Great to talk to you.
These here are very small little drawings, but I really like these little drawings. And they were kind of made to photograph and blow up. And this is an example of, of that.
These are the drawings in the end papers, and at first they just kind of look like hieroglyphic marks. When did you start drawing this way?
I started doing these kind of things in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Because looking through the book, it was so amazing how many really different styles of drawing. It's almost like none of the two look alike. Looking closer at these kind of hieroglyphic mark drawings, and we're looking at the end papers in the book, there's words in here, words like ant, bee, electric. What will cause a word to take on enough significance that you'll want to work it into a drawing?
The drawing I like insects. So, and then I like bees because my friend Jack Nance, I might have told you that, got me he worked in a hotel as a night watchman and opened a door of a vacant room and found like 10,000 dead bees and sent me a Kleenex box filled with them. And then I made my bee board from those bees. So, it started with the Ricky board. A Ricky board was based on my idea of a Japanese kind of formal art. And so you would arrange whatever they were, all would be subtly different, but mainly look the same, like a rows of bees. Mm-hmm. I think 4 rows of 5 was what it was. But then you would name your Rickies. And so they looked the same, but they all got different names.
I know you couldn't recognize one from the other, but how did you select the names? Did you look at a bee and it would say, "Oh, that's Dave"? Or
yeah, it's a strange thing. Once I saw a row of sheep in a film being slaughtered, and they all looked basically the same, one sheep after another. And I'm sure there's beings that look at all of us and we're pretty much basically the same. But when you put a name to it, they kind of separate out. Mm-hmm. And it's true. You could look at a bee named Riley, and the bee would take on a certain character.
A Riley-esque personality.
A bee named Bob would suddenly be unique.
What's your favorite insect?
Well, I kind of like them all. The stink bug, I sometimes draw. I don't know why, but they've got 6 legs. Mm-hmm. And ants. I think ants, to me, are fascinating.
Why?
Because they work night and day. Mm-hmm. And I used to think that I think killing an ant is, kind of a traumatic thing. But then I started thinking that they might just be like cells of one body. And that it doesn't mean it's good, to kill a cell of your body, but that there'd be one ant soul, and all the individual ants are part of that one body. I'm not sure about that.
Do you think that same theory can apply to the human race?
No. Individual souls, I think.
Really?
Yeah. You have an individual soul.
But isn't that the source of conflict in the world? Is that we separate ourselves that way?
On the surface is diversity, but at the source is unity. So at the deepest level, we're all one. One. And then as it emerges up, it gets more and more and more and more and more separate. And they say, like in the garden, there's all these different kind of flowers, all so beautiful but different. But they're in that one soil.
That's a beautiful theory, David. I like that. The way you use words, do the words come to you as you're making the drawing, or will you be going about your day and think, there's a word I want to work into a drawing?
There might be a little bit of both, but you can see that I like certain words, like bugs and crawling and dirt, like that one on this page, and it just comes to you as you're doing them.
So this is about page 5 of the book. We're still kind of working through the...
Now, this is the title of the show, The Air is on Fire. When Hervé read that, he said, oh, that would be a beautiful title. And so there it is.
What does that phrase conjure for you in your imagination?
It's a little bit of a shock. It's a jump into something that would be sensational.
But potentially dangerous?
Could very well be.
Yeah. Sounds kind of dangerous. Okay, here we've gotten to page, the title page of the book is a beautiful graphite drawing of an eye. That eye, for some reason, reminds me of the Elephant Man. Isn't there an eye? Mm-hmm. So are there certain images that just recur and just stay with you?
Well, I'm sure. But an eye is pretty magical. I think you could think about an eye for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's just beautiful. Unbelievable.
This is a very beautiful drawing, too. Is that someone specific's eye? Do you know whose it is?
No, I don't think so.
Uh-huh. Do you know when you drew this?
No.
Not even the decade?
I don't think so.
Problem. Okay, now we've gotten to page 20. Do you have any idea, was this an early drawing?
Yeah, but I don't know when. Uh-huh. And, of course, everybody loves Vincent van Gogh.
Do you?
Yes.
What do you love about him?
I love how driven he was.
He was that. Do you think that his madness played a role in his genius?
Yes, and I always, and I talked about him in my book on meditation. Mm-hmm. I think he suffered a lot, and I know a lot of people say, well, if he didn't suffer, he wouldn't have made the paintings he made. But I don't know about that.
He might have made more if he wasn't suffering.
So I said he would be more prolific and enjoy the doing more and maybe even push it further.
Yeah.
But I love his drive and the compulsion to get out, and I feel that he must have got into such a beautiful place doing it because he would go out every day. So that's what made him happy. It's what made him tick.
Do you have a favorite painting by him?
I like the portrait with the bandaged head and the pipe. I think he's got a pipe.
Yeah. So this drawing of Van Gogh was obviously on a piece of paper torn out of a sketchbook. Do you run around with are you a person who always has a sketchbook?
No. I got paper around, but I don't carry drawing materials.
Mm-hmm. Now we're on page 29, and there's a series of 4 drawings that look early.
They are early things.
Yeah. So were you in your 20s, a teenager?
No, this one here, I don't even remember doing the first one, these
page
2 trees.
Page 29, which is very beautiful.
This is probably in high school. Mm-hmm. And that's, I had this weird paper that was kind of like oatmeal paper. Mm-hmm. And I would do those things. This next one is a clock. And that was when I was in the 7th grade. I remember doing that one. It
looks like a drawing where you were learning perspective and just learning.
No, it was a still life thing. Uh-huh. They set it up in the schoolroom. And so that's my my little drawing of that.
So in 7th grade, you obviously had a pretty developed ability to draw. Did that just come naturally to you?
Well, I was drawing, I never thought about it. And it's, well, like looking back, I would think everybody has this ability to draw, and you just draw. And you find some pleasure in drawing, or you wouldn't do it. So when I was little, I would draw guns and knives. It was right after the war, and there was a lot of Army surplus things, and, we would play, war. And I got into airplanes, bombers and fighter planes, these flying Tigers, and Browning automatic water-cooled submachine guns.
And those were lying around the...
No, they were like pictures that I would copy and, find the names and do drawings of them.
I have friends who have children, and I've noticed all boy children, regardless of how they're raised, are drawn to weapons. How do you explain that?
I don't know. I think because it will shoot an object out of itself, and that you can aim them and break something.
Yeah, that explains it. It is fun to break.
It's
things.
a machine. This is in high school.
On page 31, it's a picture of a man smoking.
That's me. It's a self-portrait.
That's a self-portrait?
Mm-hmm.
You look like Ahmet Ertegun or Malcolm X there.
It's my Malcolm X stage.
Okay, this is page 32. It's a pastel, isn't it?
No, it's a pencil drawing with kind of turpentine color overlaid it.
It's very beautiful.
This guy here, when I went to Europe in 1965, at the border of Italy and Yugoslavia, the train switched to coal from electricity. And as we went through Yugoslavia, it was a little bit like going back in time. And that man was standing at the edge of a field near the train tracks. That's
very beautiful. He looks like he's in the past. Now we're jumping to a series of two pages, and it says 6 men, but there aren't 6 men, are there?
Well, there are.
Let's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 men getting sick. The first film I made, based on the experience of seeing a painting move in my studio and hearing a wind, I wanted to do a moving painting. And I knew in principle that film looked like it was moving, but it was made up of still images. And the idea of stop motion, and you get the principle, and then you just need the camera. And I thought at that time that all 16 millimeter cameras were the same. That when you said 16 millimeter, it was a certain type of camera would come.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah. But there are many, many 16 millimeter models. And I was always amazed at how the price varied. So I got the cheapest one, calling around at a place called Photorama in Philadelphia. And Photorama was just a downtown camera shop. But they had a little Bell and Howell camera that you put a magazine in, and it had single frame capabilities. That's what I needed. And it had a little turret of 3 lenses, wide, medium, and close. So I made this first film with that camera, and I animated this in a room in an old hotel, maybe the 12th floor, 9th floor, something like this, in an old hotel in Philadelphia, and had the camera taped to a dresser and then nailed to the floor and set up. And it wasn't reflex viewing, so I had to make sure I had space all around the thing. So on the original, you can see the radiator that the board was sitting on. And then I made this sculptured screen. See on the front here, underneath the one, you see 3 figures. Those are sculpted.
Yeah, you can tell.
And
you sculpted those?
Those are life casts. 2 of them are me, and one of them is my friend Jack. And so Jack cast me for those, and I put them in, and I cast Jack and put him in.
So that's here. That 3 of the 6 men are...
Then the film overlaps the 3-dimensional screen and interacts with it. so that I hung the sculptured screen in the middle of the stage theater and built like an erector set above the projector so that the film could be a continuous loop and play over and over on this. And the parts that I didn't want to see fell away. I could move it to just the parts I wanted were hitting the sculptured screen, and there was many feet behind it where the image I didn't want would fall off.
So basically, these are stills from your first film. What happens in it? 6 men throw up?
6 men get sick. Yeah.
Now we have stills from the amputee. Is that Catherine Coulson?
This is Catherine
I
Coulson.
recognized her.
This came about because one day Fred Elms, who at that time was the director of photography on Eraserhead, but we were down. We weren't shooting. But Fred was a fellow at the Center for Advanced Film Studies, and he'd been asked by the faculty to test 2 black and white video stocks. So Fred came down and said he wouldn't be able to work that night or do something because he was testing these black and white video stocks. And I said, well, what are you going to shoot? And he said, well, I'll just shoot, test patterns, the things. And I said, well, do you think they would mind if you shot something else? And he said, well, I don't think so. And I said, what if I wrote something? And he said, okay. And so I wrote this thing, and we stayed up all night, me and Catherine, and made this, the amputee, the next afternoon.
And this is a picture of a woman casually taking notes while someone appears to be amputating her leg?
She's writing a letter, and her voiceover is reading the letter over while the doctor is cleaning her stumps.
Who's playing the doctor?
You're looking at him.
That's you?
That's me.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm wearing a hairnet.
Why?
Because it's a doctor is like a cook.
Yeah.
You don't want any wild hairs getting into
That's very true.
Yeah.
Catherine Coulson, most people probably know her best as the log lady from Twin Peaks. Okay, starting on page 49 through 96 these are all devoted to drawings. Some of these drawings, these thick lines, they remind me of Aboriginal marks. Which, do you know much about Aboriginal art?
No.
Well, just the dots and the lines, and their drawings have shamanic powers. Supposedly, they're like portals into another reality.
Sure.
Would that be these?
Yeah. Well, let's start at the front because we can set the stage.
Okay, we're on page
These
49.
These are all Post-it drawings.
Oh,
and
you're
so
kidding.
it's a series. And so, I don't even know how I started on these things, but they're a little bit like theaters. Like this business on the edge is like a curtain, and then there's things happening in my mind, on the theater. But they just would, roll out, and so they're all, as we turn the pages, Post-it, size. Drawings.
Is the sequence of any significance?
No significance whatsoever. But, when I see them after all these years, I'm thinking rugs. And I really want to make rugs. And so some of these would make, incredible rugs.
Later in the book, there's 2 drawings that scream out, I
As
want to be a
rugs.
rug. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you preserve these drawings? Do you have?
Well, I saved all this stuff in a box, and Debbie Trutnick, my assistant, after Blue Velvet into the 90s, is an extreme organizer, and she organized these, and Hervé left them pretty much as Debbie, organized them in a book to save them.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. Do you have any idea when you did these? If it was after Blue Velvet, it had to be late 80s.
I don't know that it was. We're going to come along to napkin drawings. It's the same thing. I don't know that there's anything to talk about with these.
Well, what would make you stop? Okay, obviously you were very excited about working on this material? And what made you stop? What made you decide, okay, I've made enough Post-it drawings?
Well, I might have run out of Post-its, and but I might have many more somewhere. Now, see these coming up to what page is this?
Page 54.
On page 54, these are in the same, family, but these are no longer Post-its. If they are, they're bigger Post-its. So, when something is nearby, you start, working things. And so these are just small things, but as I see them, I'm real happy with them.
They're very beautiful. These drawings are sort of dominated by the shimmery, they almost remind me of like sine waves. Is this pencil or pastel?
Those, I think, are pencil. This is, the red one here on the left corner is China markers, like...
To mark on contact sheets?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The rest are pencil.
One of these drawings says Fire Walk with Me, so obviously this was a little later than just the 80s.
Fire Walk with Me was a phrase that came out of Blue Velvet, in the Blue Velvet days.
Do you remember? It's not in the film,
No,
is it?
but if Frank Booth had a tattoo, it would have been that.
Oh, okay. Well, does a phrase...
It wouldn't have been this drawing, but it would have been that phrase.
Does this phrase give birth to a whole reality and world?
Yes.
Will a phrase precede your creation of a world?
Yes.
Okay. Good. That's good to know. Okay, here we're on page 56 and 57, and these are completely different. These look like they're almost on Band-Aids, these
No, they're on
drawings.
matchbooks.
Oh.
These are a whole series of matchbook drawings. And I kind of do like a series. So I don't know how these happened, but in the old days, there were many more matches than there were lighters. And the matches were a lot of times plain, like these, so you could draw on them. And they're like diptychs, but some of them anyway. And anyway, little drawings on the matchbooks seemed to feel good.
How many of them did you do? Does this represent the best of them?
No, this is what's left.
Oh, because you lost them, or you
I
didn't?
would lose them.
Oh.
So I don't know how many I did.
So this suggests that you're one of those people that draws on what's ever around.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about these different series, like on napkins and like there's a whole different vocabulary for every one.
Mm-hmm.
They look completely different.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up to the Bob's napkins. This is what page?
This is page 58 and 59. These are on napkins?
At Bob's Big Boy, they used to have, and I don't think they have them anymore, a chrome and metal napkin holder. And so you just reach over, get out a napkin, and start your drawing. And I would take a kit of, magic, markers and Sharpies, and then I'd have my coffee and my shake. And this is some of the things I was working on.
Do you like the way the line bleeds?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And then these things here, I don't know that I got into. These are a little bit. What page is that, Kristine?
This is page 60 and 61, and they're I've never seen anything like this that you did.
No, they're a little uptight, and so I just would get into a thing, and these would come out. These are earlier, I think.
How early?
No, maybe in the 70s.
Yeah, because on page 60, it's like this tightly interwoven networks of lines that's very atypical for you.
But those things are in me, these kind of things.
Well, but
I don't know.
that to me is more you
Yeah.
than that. The one on 61 has an explosive splot in it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to more
Now, these are
drawings.
like 3x5 card drawings coming in too. And they're just like cards. They got all kinds of phone numbers on them and different things. So it just was like, you could say, just because it was there, it would start getting, drawn on. So, but I still like them for rugs. Like this one, what page is that?
This is page 63.
The bottom right of 63
You know,
would be a killer rug.
my favorite on page 63 is this beautiful drawing of the baby from Eraserhead. Do you know when you drew that?
No.
Such a sweet. He looks so vulnerable and sweet. Yeah.
And I don't even know if these are in the right, many of these not necessarily in the right up and down or side to side.
Are these still all in your personal collection?
Yes.
And these are some more of those?
Yeah. So these are 3x5 drawings. And I like these for textures and the feel, and for rugs.
That one, page 65, the lower right, that would be a beautiful
And
rug.
this one would make a killer rug.
So if you were to frame these and hang them on the wall, would you group them or each one is
No.
unto itself?
Excuse me. They're so little.
Should they be in a vitrine?
They should be in something like that. But I like to photograph them and blow them up. Like that.
Yeah.
And then see, it gets like, what page is that?
This is page 66, and the shape seems a little different.
They get a lot more complicated, and many, many things are happening, and I really, it sort of thrills me.
This one, the upper left on page 67, that's kind of atypical for you, too. What is that?
Not
That almost
really.
looks like a Saul Steinberg drawing to me, almost. You know? I love these on page 69. Was that on a calendar?
That's on a calendar somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. So when did you stop doing things like this? You
I don't
still
know.
do?
I still do them sometimes.
So, and also on one of these drawings on page 69, you just scribbled a phone number. That means you didn't feel really precious about these, like
No, I might have had the phone number on them and then started
the drawing.
started the drawing.
It is a good rug.
Yeah, there's some good rugs.
Yeah. Have you made a rug yet?
No.
Next,
I'm yearning.
it's your next thing. Okay, on page 71, it's a drawing of an interior, which to me looks exactly like the rabbits' place they live in Inland Empire.
Well, it's similar. I like these little rooms and did a whole bunch of drawings of little rooms. This is one of them. And then there's rugs
There's
again.
those rugs. Yeah.
And lamps. And I love to build lamps now.
Really?
So, and I want to build chairs. So there's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
These are
These are the
looking
rugs.
down in a
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
On what page is this?
This is page 72 and 73.
This sort of rugs and interiors.
What appeals to you about it's kind of 30s, 40s deco
That's
over
more
stuff?
40s. I don't know. I don't want to live in a place like that. But I like to make a film in a place like that.
Yeah.
I like to go into that world.
Yeah.
Then we're going now to page.
74 and 75.
This 74 is a chalk drawing.
That is so beautiful.
You remember when I had the show at Jim Corcoran's?
Yeah, with like dark shape behind a veil, the pastels.
all those pastels. This is one of those, but this is a Polaroid of that. I don't know where the chalk drawing is.
Oh, it's a photograph of the drawing.
Yeah, it's a Polaroid of the drawing.
So did that soften it? Because it looks
No,
so
it's
muted.
pretty much the same. And then this on page 75, is that
Yeah,
it?
75.
That's partially finished, another little interior.
Well, that's a nude reclining
divan.
in one of those rooms with the
Right.
floor lamp and the overstuffed furniture.
This comes from Philadelphia. This is a Philadelphia feel.
Yeah.
The proportion of those windows was, it's a Philadelphia thing. That lamp is a Philadelphia lamp.
Speaking of Philadelphia, why did you go to the 12th floor of an old building in Philadelphia to do that
That's
film?
what the school owned that building.
Oh, I
And they
see.
gave me it as a studio.
I see.
For this project.
Yeah, okay. Here's page 76 and 77.
These are about 5x7 cards, and I've lost so many of these small drawings, but this is with a really sharp pencil, and I would get into these real small drawings, again with the idea of photographing them and blowing them up.
When were you doing these?
These are sort of 70s, I think.
Okay, on 76, this one, it looks like a naked man with emitting a beam of light from his groin.
Where do you see that?
Right there. What's going on there?
I don't know. they say the world is as we are.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Kristine is going to go see her doctor when we're finished.
Yeah. You don't think it looks like that?
No, I don't. It's a partially finished figure, but I don't know that that's a man.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And now here there's two figures on the other page here, but see, this is not finished.
Yeah.
Now we're turning the page.
Yeah.
What is that one?
This is 78 and 79. Are these getting bigger or are these still
These
really
are the same.
small?
78. That's Mr. Jim's Home by the Sea.
I thought it was a seascape.
Yeah, so I did many Mr. Jim drawings, and they're not here. I don't know where they are. Mr. Jim mentally projects 3 floating mice. Mr. Jim does 3 magic tricks simultaneously, things like this.
When did you meet this person?
In the 70s.
Yeah.
And so this is Mr. Jim's Home by the Sea.
What is this on 79?
79, it's just it's almost like the flow of something. And I really like this little drawing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You almost want to find a word in it, but I don't know if there's one there.
No, there isn't a word there.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
again,
we're getting to some rugs here.
Yeah.
On page 80 and 81. These are gorgeous. What are these on?
They're 5x7 cards. Well, no, the left one is a 5x7. The right is a different proportion, but I wouldn't know what that's on.
Now, for several years, were you only working really small like this?
Well, for sure. Big canvases cost a lot of money, and so I was working small.
This was all you could afford? That is heartbreaking. Well, you certainly made maximum use of your materials.
We'll turn the page. Now we're going to get some more interiors.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
What page is this, Kristine?
This is page 82 and 83, and again,
Okay.
it's the rabbit home.
83, the top one, is built. This is built for the show. This will be something to walk into.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be pretty cool. That was going to be the one on the left here, but I like this top part, and there's just a bit more going on in the top right one here.
So will the environment have wallpaper like
Yeah,
that?
it'll be just like this, walk into the drawing.
Will it be slightly smaller than full scale? Or?
It will be full scale in the front, and then forced perspective will make you have to duck to go into these back doors.
You know, it'll be interesting to see if you can replicate this mood in an actual environment, you know?
Yeah, I don't know that it will happen, but it will be an
That'll be
interesting
great.
experiment.
Yeah.
Now we're turning the page again. These are a little bit too busy in my book for rugs. What page are we on?
We're on 84 and 85. You think they're too busy?
85 on the right
Yeah.
is my kind of thing
Well,
for a rug.
talk about this one on the upper right on 84.
They're just patterns, repetitions, and it could be a rug, I guess.
But too busy for you?
A hair too busy.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I like the ones on the right for rugs.
Yeah.
more. Then we're getting into, now these, I don't know when these were. These might be in the 60s.
This is page 86 and 87, and it's 8 drawings done with a ballpoint pen.
Right. And they feel like what I was doing in the 60s. I was doing mechanical women. And so women that were part machine and part flesh.
Yeah, I think there's some other drawings that are even more specific.
Right.
You know, this looks like the drawings are absolutely suited only to ballpoint pen. You know.
Maybe it does come out when what you use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're getting into some more things like
Still on the little notepads.
this evolution of an ant and evolution of a fish. I like a lot.
Yeah.
How it reaches a point where it looks like a fish, but then keeps on going.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
And these are on the right. That's a stink bug on the upper left.
Yeah, upper left on page 88. What were these done on? Some of
That's
these
the little
drawings.
scraps of paper.
Yeah,
And this one on page, what's that?
page 89.
89, bottom right. I love this little drawing. Now that would make a great rug, or blow that up
Yeah.
bigger.
What appeals to you about that?
It's just it's a machine-like thing. and the way the shapes are,
Yeah.
and the mood of it.
Yeah.
I really like it. We're turning the page
Oh,
now.
now here's these two are okay. This is page 90 and 91. These are completely singular. There's nothing else like
That's
this.
another series. I got these brushes. They're brushes you can get. They're pen brushes, so they hold ink, but the ink flows out of a brush.
Wow.
So you can get a kind of a dry brush thing going, and these drawings came out of that.
They almost look like braided lines. They're really dense. You have any idea when you made these?
I think this was in the 70s.
And are these still on little cards?
They're on little cards.
When did you finally get to get a bigger canvas? Not for a while.
Not for a while.
Yeah. Do you like these now?
I love these little drawings.
Did you do
Yeah.
a lot of these or just these
I did a lot of
four?
those.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I did a whole series of those. I really like that brush pen.
Yeah.
This is one started.
Right.
On the next page. And then this is ballpoint pen. I love ballpoint pen. And I love to get going on a ballpoint pen drawing.
Now, this is page 93, and there's a scribbled kind of figure in here that turns up a lot in your paintings of the late 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
Who is that guy?
It's just me.
Okay.
Then we got another stink bug on page, what is this?
This is page 94. These drawings look earlier than the ones we just saw.
I think they are. I don't know if they're 70s still, though. I think they are 70s.
Do you think when you make a work is of any significance?
No.
So you don't think any of these drawings particularly reflect what you were going through in that time and place?
They have to in some way, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a nature
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, we've got the bug and the
Bird.
bird on 94, 95.
Now this one here I like.
Yeah, I love that.
This is a little bit the evolution thing, but it has an absurd quality seen all together, and the writing is absurd.
Yeah, what do you think we need, Bob, in terms of color? This is obviously done on a napkin.
Right.
It's incredibly rich. The person that becomes a two-headed creature down here.
It's a little two-headed. The human head on a dog, I kind of like.
Did you do that in a restaurant?
Probably.
Okay. Now we're to the alphabet. So these are stills from your
From
film.
the alphabet.
Yeah.
That's my first wife, Peggy. When we lived on Aspen Street in Philadelphia. And this was a film. This is really my second film.
After 6 men getting sick?
But it would have been. I should have made one in between. But because it didn't work out, my camera was broken.
That's a problem.
It saved me.
What do you mean you should have made one in between?
I was given the opportunity after 6 men getting sick. I wasn't going to make any more films because it was too expensive. A man, Bart Wasserman, commissioned me to make a moving painting for his home.
Wow.
And with that money, I bought a used, but brand new to me, Bolex. And I loved this, camera. And I started Bart's project and animated for 2 months. Finished the animation part and took the film to the lab. And when it came back, it was one long blur.
Was it the camera?
It was the camera was broken.
Oh,
but
God.
it wasn't, oh, God. It was something about that made me happy.
Yeah.
And I got an idea for another thing, told Bart about it. He said, make whatever you want and give me a print. And I made the alphabet. Now, if I had made the other one, I wouldn't have been able to get the grant that I got eventually.
Yeah.
And so it was a beautiful turn of fate.
Bart sounds like a real visionary.
Bart,
Yeah.
Some people come along in one's life,
Yeah.
and it's just incredible.
Is this Peggy again?
That's Peggy. It's all. And then this, what page? Oh, we don't know. We're on the second page of the alphabet.
Yeah. Oh, this is page 98 through 103 is the alphabet.
So those are all just
You know,
stills.
this reminds me, the last image from the alphabet reminds me of Francis Bacon. Do you like his work? Well, some people don't.
He's my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I don't. Do you see that in
Oh,
there?
sure.
Yeah.
Huge influence
Yeah.
on me.
Where are their drawings from those films?
They're gone.
They're in drawing heaven?
Yeah, they were on a board, so it's all destroyed.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up to what page are we on?
Now we're on page 113, and we're getting into those kind of mechanical women.
This is the 60s.
Yeah.
66, 67, somewhere in there. I was doing mechanical women.
Yeah, they look like they're cobbled together out of prosthetics and spare
Exactly.
parts.
And flesh. Uh-huh. And these are all those
Yeah.
turning the pages.
Yeah, up to page 115, some more of those women. Do you remember why you were making those?
No.
No?
Something about machine and mankind together.
It's a common
is
theme. Yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah, so right here from page 116 through 128, it's a series of drawings, and they really feel like they open up, like the space in them, the use of color.
Well, these are shootings on this page, these pages.
People getting shot?
Yes.
Wow. What did you do these on? Notebook paper?
Those are on, yeah,
So they're a little bigger.
a little bit bigger.
Yeah. How did you get the whole page black? Did you
I
paint it?
painted it black.
So they're paintings.
A little bit, yeah, paintings
Yeah.
on paper. This here is, I did a lot of figures getting sick.
Page 119, we've got a vomiting.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were drawing that?
And it's also coming from the
In
nose.
the nose, yeah.
I don't know.
He looks pretty ashamed, actually.
I was just boldly dealing with it.
It's so interesting. This stuff coming out of his nose, it looks like the world, you know,
There's
the
so
raw
much-
matter. Yeah.
A lot of textures.
This looks like the same guy on pages 120 and 121. Is it the same guy?
No, they're just figures. They they're not, in my mind, the same person.
Yeah. They seem to have the same eye, though.
But it's a series, so
Yeah.
it could be.
Yeah.
And this one on page, what is that?
On page 122.
I like that
Yeah.
that figure.
Yeah. And on the next page, 123, is a military man in boots sitting in a chair with a giant nose with a pimple.
Well, his head is a nose.
Yeah, right.
And this was at AFI in 1971. I probably did this drawing based on Gogol's short story called The Nose.
Really?
Yeah, because
And
I
is
was
there a
into
pimp-
Kafka, and then Frank Daniel, the dean of the schools, told me I should read Gogol.
Did you like him?
Yeah,
Is there a pimple in the story?
I'm not sure about that, but there's a nose who dressed up like a general, I believe.
Oh, that's amazing.
Instead of a cockroach, as in Kafka's Metamorphosis, I think he finds himself as a nose.
Nose. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he wrote those. Okay, I love this one. On page 124, is that pastel or paint?
That's tempera.
Tempera on just a scrap of newspaper. Was it an arbitrary scrap of newspaper? or-
Arbitrary.
Okay. Do you still have this?
I must.
Yeah. God, you were working on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So these next ones they're okay. They're like in the 60s. Still in a little bit the time of the mechanical women and different things working out.
Yeah. That's 126 and 127.
And
On 128.
that's the times of the grandmother.
Well, what's man in a garden figure with green? There's a list of.
Those are probably ideas.
Were you thinking about film when you were making these drawings?
No, but I was starting to, get into film, right? I mean, I was into it right then, but I don't think I was thinking about film when I made
Yeah.
those drawings.
Okay, now we're coming to a series
to
of
the grandmother.
stills of the grandmother. This is page 130 through 135. Did you shoot all the stills on your films?
These stills are from the film.
Oh.
There was no still photographer on on the grandmother. Mm-hmm. But I had still photographs taken for something that I wanted to animate. And my friend Doug Randall took several pictures. But I didn't use them because the way they were printed, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. But he did take pictures. I don't know if he still has them.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was wondering, in this book, there's a series of stills from all your movies. How do you go about selecting the images from a film that are the most potent and meaningful?
Hervé picked them.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're just...
they're his choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on Inland Empire, I selected almost 2,000.
Really?
Going through, yes. And I liked doing that a lot.
Who's the little boy?
Richard White. He lived in the neighborhood. All the people in the grandmother came from my life. And Bob and Virginia were the parents. Richard White was the boy. And Dorothy McGinnis played the grandmother. She was the lady I printed with every day, engravings. Roger and Kristine Lapel hired me to print.
Was this in Philadelphia?
Yes, in Philadelphia. Roger and Kristine really kind of saved me.
In terms of finances,
Yes.
or giving you a direction, or
Helping me have a job that allowed me to also paint.
that's a great gift.
It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very beautiful child.
Richard White,
Yeah.
right down the street. And he said he would do it, and he was unbelievably great.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're on page 137, and it looks like looks like a bat. Is it a bat?
Those are just variations on the small animal.
Insect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a scrap of notebook paper again.
Now these here on the next page, what are those pages?
Well, this is page 138 and 139, and they look like cathedrals to me for some reason.
I did hundreds of these arches and, kind of like, in my mind, what is it, the Renaissance kind of period, Italian things.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And I would get into those things like crazy. So all this is with ballpoint pen.
Wow, that must have taken a while.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Charlie Crumb for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, I love Charlie Crumb.
Yeah, he was
Damn.
great. Yeah.
So good. Now, so this next page, what is that page, Kristine?
This is page 140, and that's a similar kind of
That's a
drawing?
similar one, yeah.
So that's just all blacked in with ballpoint pen?
Right.
Wow. And on 141, is this on a note card again?
Yes, I think so. It doesn't really go with the other ones, but it's sort of interiors again.
It looks like there's sperm flying through it. Is that what those are?
Well, you could see it that way. Kristine.
You don't? Come on. What is that shape?
Well, I don't know. It's like,
Or a tadpole?
It's liquid. Yeah,
Okay.
it's liquid.
Okay.
And
Better shut my mouth.
and it's a little bit of a garden.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh, that's an
a
exterior?
nature. No, it's interior, but there's plants.
Uh-huh. Oh, these are beauties.
Now, this was page what?
Page 142 and 143.
Yeah.
She's got smoke coming out of her head.
Well, it's a thought, maybe.
Ah.
And so there's a figure. I really like this. My daughter Jennifer, I printed up one of these for her. Mm-hmm. It's she liked that one.
Yeah.
And I get into these gardens and, around back of the house kind of thing. And this one here is just there's a lot going on in that one.
That one seems whimsical.
Yeah,
That one seems happy.
I think,
This one's a little more brooding. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looks like it's a hot thought, if that's a thought coming out of her head.
yeah, this is some kind of creation.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh,
And this one here on page, what is that?
On page 144.
These 144 and 145 are old things. This from the 60s.
Well, this one, 144, it looks like some growth that pushed its way up out of several layers of earth, and
Right.
it looks very malignant and creepy. Was that your intention?
No, it's just a figure,
Yeah. But it did seem to come from down under.
To grow on up.
Yeah.
I like this one, the feel of it.
So a 145, it's like you delineated a space on the notebook page.
Right.
That's kind of unusual.
And this is another thing from the 60s on page 146.
Yeah, 146 and 147.
Both those are 60s.
Do some of these drawings, you just have reproductions of them, or they are all still preserved somewhere?
They're all preserved.
That's great.
This here is
148.
from Eraserhead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is what's the number?
148.
148. That's Henry's bed.
Oh, I see. Right.
But I can't figure out, what it was that I was working on.
Is this also from Eraserhead?
It might be that time.
Because it's like a birth.
I really like that drawing a lot.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites right there. That's 149?
Yes, 149. And it looks like it's dated 1968. Could that be?
Sure.
Yeah.
68.
Yeah, that's unusual for you to... Okay, here we go.
That's the B-board.
150. So you did a B-board. Did you do a fly board too, or just a B-board?
No, I just started with the B-board. Well, I started with the Ricky board. And the Rickies were rubbings from white glue textures. And then I'd do rubbings of 4 rows of 5. And then out of that came the B-board. And the idea of name your Rickies, and the bees have names.
So each of these bees is an actual bee glued to the board.
Exactly, and then I'd photograph them. Isabella Rossellini has the original bee board.
She's got the bee board?
But
Wow.
the bees all came apart.
Oh.
And they're at the bottom of the frame now.
Well, there's something beautiful about that, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's little microorganisms that keep working.
And just the little names.
Just the names are left.
And the fish kit.
That's the first kit I did. I did that in London, in Twickenham.
Was that when you were making Elephant Man?
Yes. It was in post-production of Elephant Man. We'd finished shooting, and I had an apartment where I went out and got this fish, and I wanted it. It's based on a model airplane kit. So you get the kit, and then you put it together. There's instructions. So if you're successful putting your fish together, it will swim and do these things.
Now, you also did a chicken kit, which looks much neater than this one. The fish was pretty messy.
Well, there's, it's
A lot of goo.
all necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and this is a gorgeous picture of the Eraserhead baby on 153.
That's a pastel drawing of the baby.
Oh, it's so beautiful. How big is that?
That's about 30 by 40 or something like somewhere,
Wow.
some size that's...
Yeah. Who has this drawing?
I've got it somewhere.
That is a real beauty. Is it going to be in the exhibition?
Yeah, I believe it will be.
Oh, that's great. Now this, I can see in this drawing, you moving towards that work you were making in the late 80s, the big pastels, like dark
Yes.
shape behind a veil, right there.
This is the same period.
Oh, okay.
And we're turning the page.
And we're on 154 and 155. Now, these look earlier than what we just saw.
This is the Eraserhead baby on the right.
Okay.
And you see the scissors, and I must have been working out things.
Yeah. Is that the umbilical cord of the Eraserhead baby? It looks like it.
Well, this is an opening in the body.
Yeah. Looks very troubling. Just an Eraserhead baby.
Right. This is Henry sitting on the bed on page, what's that?
Oh, yeah, 156. And it has the
plant.
mound of dirt next to
Right.
the bed, which is so wonderful.
I love mounds of dirt.
Yeah. And then I remember if you open his drawer, he had bowls of water he'd flip coins into.
That was in the dresser.
Yeah, I
bureau.
love that. Okay, now we have stills from Eraserhead.
Right.
Did you take... was there
Catherine Colson took most of these stills.
Okay.
She was the still photographer.
Well, God bless
Some
her.
might be from the film, but some are Catherine's. Mm-hmm. She was the official
That's
still
beautiful.
photographer.
Did you select these or Hervé did?
No, these are from probably the select stills of Eraserhead that went out when the film was released.
Yeah. Well, before we leave Eraserhead,
Mm-hmm.
do you think you're still working through any of the themes that that are central to that film, or do you think you've worked through those things and moved on to something completely different?
Yes and no. Because Eraserhead, I say, is my most spiritual movie.
I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's, like they say, variations on the theme, the human condition and what's happening. I think, in a way, maybe you just take different angles on, and it's a narrow angles, but different angles, and but it comes from ideas. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of all the same, but not.
Different vantage point.
Right.
Yeah. This drawing on page 165, I can't connect that with anything else we've seen so far.
That's a drawing of a clock, a watercolor.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
I like clocks, and I like a mechanism, and I'd like to make clocks.
And there's there's the numbers on the clock. I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That looks like it would be hard to do in watercolor.
No.
Well, the precision of the numbers, watercolor is hard to control. But maybe not for you. Okay, so this is 166 and 167.
Okay, 166 and 167, I think these are both inspired by France. Mm-hmm. This kind of mechanical thing on this page, 167, is coming from some kind of French experience.
When did you first go to France?
In 65.
Oh, is that when you went with Jack Fisk?
Right.
And you turned around and came home early?
After 15 days instead of 3 years.
What happened? Did you run out of money, or it was just too much?
I realized pretty quickly I didn't want to be there to do my work.
Kandinsky wasn't there.
Right. Now these, on the next page, is what are those?
168 and 169.
It's another series. I don't know. I got into sort of cosmic explosions and shapes in the cosmos. I don't know any more than that.
Well, you can definitely see that. It looks like the creation of galaxies, those explosions. Are those on note cards too?
Those are on note cards. Okay. They might, I don't know, Kristine, of how big those are.
They look small.
Can't remember. Yeah. They might be a little bigger than you think, but I'm not sure if this is life size.
Yeah. Okay, 170 and 171 is sort of...
Hervé put these in. This is, I guess, very beginning of Angriest Dog in the World, where I worked out,
who he was.
And this here is not the original drawing of the angriest dog in the world, but it's some kind of time where it was starting.
Yeah.
And so it's all that's left.
When did you stop doing that?
I did it from 1982 to 91.
Uh-huh. Do you still have a lot of those?
All of them have been saved by Debbie.
Oh, God bless her.
Yeah, these here are more of the...
Cosmic explosions?
Cosmic explosions.
Yeah, 172 and 173.
And it gets into kind of a dance that I liked. So I just did, many of these
Are
things.
these felt tip pen or paint or?
Well, there's a pen with the ink in it, pencil, magic marker.
What will make you abandon a way of working? I mean, why aren't you still working that way? You just
worked through this one.
Uh-huh. I see.
Oh, Donna, Richie Valens came from this drawing. What page is that?
175.
Yeah.
Is this a tragedy? It's red lips with an X.
It's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy. I could tell. So 176 and 177.
This is around Dune because this is notes on Dune somehow.
So do you make these kind of preparatory drawings for films?
This is not really for the film, but some of this stuff, this kind of, a little bit of this kind of thing worked its way into some of the Fremen world in Dune. Now these things here, what pages are those?
Page 178 and 179.
These I like very much. They're structures, more like I would like to do sculptures. of those.
If you were going to make a sculpture out of this drawing on 178, what materials would you use? An erector set?
I would use cold rolled steel. I'd have Alfredo build that out of cold rolled steel, and then I'd use Fixol for the organic parts.
How big would you make it?
I'd make that say 7 feet tall.
Oh, that would be amazing. Have you ever made a sculpture that big?
No, I made lamps about that big.
Are your lamps sculptural like this?
In a way, yes.
None of them are in the show, though.
No, but I might have photographs of the lamps.
Okay, so here on 179 is a drawing. There's a lot of phone numbers. Your daughter's phone number is on here. Who's this figure?
It's just a figure, but I like the fact that it's got this kind of overlay of something and how it works with it.
And obviously, bleeding through, you drew something else on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, too.
I think you'd be able to. I'm not sure what it was.
You made good use of your materials, maximum.
These here are around the Elephant Man time because there's the Elephant Man.
And there's the eye.
Yeah, different little things.
Yeah.
And we're coming up to the Elephant Man stills.
The stills.
And these are probably from the stills that were released at the time of the film.
Did you just lose interest in working in black and white?
No.
Well, you haven't made a black and white film since
Some
then.
stories are for black and white, and some are for color.
But you just haven't had a black and white story?
I haven't had a black and white idea.
So the most significant difference between the Elephant Man and the films that you're making now is Elephant Man hewed to a linear narrative. And do you find that's just too one-dimensional now?
I don't know. It's not that I wouldn't do a linear. I did the straight story. That was as
true.
Linear as you could get.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
So the ideas tell you how they want to be.
Because, Inland Empire and Mulholland Drive is like these multi-layered narratives. But, yeah, this is a beautiful movie, Elephant Man. What do you love the most about this film?
John Merrick. But his real name was Joseph Merrick. I found out later. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
John Hurt was so great in that.
John Hurt was incredible.
He's a wonderful actor.
Really.
Okay.
What page is that?
189.
Well, my son Riley left me one of those Ziploc bags with a beautiful dragonfly in it.
Oh, wow.
Where I'm doing my watercolors. And I photographed it and did a print for him, and it's a beautiful thing. And then I did this watercolor.
How big was the photographic print?
The photographic print was 13 by 19.
Wow, because you have that great big printer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this are the little tiny watercolor paper.
So did you finally get some proper watercolor paper?
Yes,
and
I
you
did.
Got off those note cards?
Yes,
Good.
these here are, this is watercolor
Yeah,
things.
190 and 191.
This ant one is on a cardboard backing of the small watercolor things. It's not on the paper itself.
Oh, so it's the back of a pad.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but I like these small watercolors very much.
Yeah.
This one here is
193.
a dead animal.
Oh, that one's sad.
Yeah.
What is going on in page 194?
It's a theatrical event.
That one feels Francis Bacon-y, too. Okay, 195.
That's a television.
Okay, now we're to some stills from Dune. Have you gotten over the trauma of this film so you can appreciate it now?
No.
No?
These are partly stills. I think this top one on the left here is a painting by Tony Masters.
Oh, wow.
And
how about this one?
That's partly painted too.
Yeah.
See, these were put together later. Part of the set was built, and part of it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
well, these were early days for those computer-generated.
There wasn't any computer stuff.
Yeah.
It was all optical, stills, frames, and transparencies, and all kinds of painting.
And now we're to stills from Blue Velvet.
So that's.
Did you take these, or are they from the film?
I think these are from the film.
Yeah, they
it
look
looks
like they're from the film. Yeah, these are really famous images from the film.
Now we're at Wild at Heart.
I feel that's one of your more. I love that film. I don't think it ever got as much religious praise as it deserved. Laura Dern is so amazing in that.
Yeah, no, I like the film.
Yeah.
I like watching it
Yeah.
and going in that world.
Yeah.
And Isabella was great.
Oh, yeah, and her blonde wig, she
Perdita,
looks
yeah, and
fantastic.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Both Laura and Isabella, a lot of them had, really big eyebrows.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Now we're coming up to, what are we coming up to?
Now we're coming up to...
What does it say there?
It says Lumieres, which I think these look like it's page... gosh, what page is this? It's page 218. They look like images you shot off a TV screen. Is that what they are?
No.
What are they?
This is from the Lumiere. You never saw the Lumiere film?
No. No, I didn't. Was that
This is with the Lumiere camera.
right?
And they asked 40 directors to make a film using the original Lumiere
Yeah.
brothers camera.
Wow.
It was so great.
Wow.
And so this is they constructed the emulsion, but they put it on acetate rather than nitrate, and that's the only difference. And you had 55-second take, and you had 3 takes, 55 seconds long. You had to use natural light, and you could add sound later, but you weren't allowed to stop the camera. You had to go continuously.
Wow. Where did you shoot it, in France?
No, I shot it over Gary D'Amico's house, and
who
built
is
these
that?
sets.
Yeah.
Now, so it has to all go at once. So it starts here, it goes here, it goes here, it goes here.
It's not like stop action, is it?
No, it's a motion picture camera.
Okay.
But you'll have to see it. There were
Where-
5 different sets built for it. And you can't stop. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Is that Laura Palmer?
No, that's not Laura Palmer.
Kind of looks like her.
Yeah.
Where if someone wanted to see this film, can you rent it?
I think it's on my short films reel.
Okay, great.
For short films DVD.
Now we're to paintings on page 225.
Right.
And all these paintings, there's a series about 10 or 12 pages of these paintings coming up. They all have an atmosphere of anxiety and fear. It's like a scary world seen from the perspective of a child. Do you think that's accurate or not?
Yes, that's
Okay.
accurate.
Was this the first one?
No, I don't know that there's any indication of what came first.
Yeah.
But that's me in front of my house. I love houses.
All houses?
No, I like 40s or 50s.
Suburban tract homes?
Oh yeah, I love them. And streets with houses and trees and figures
Neighborhoods.
and neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so these maybe came out of that.
Did you grow up in a neighborhood?
Yes.
Do you feel like you live in one now?
Yeah, everyone lives in some kind of neighborhood. Yeah.
But the same kind of neighborhood?
No, neighborhoods have changed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You catch a feeling of a time in your neighborhood when you're young, and it can be a beautiful memory.
But there's a flip side.
It can be a hellish memory.
Because all these seem frightened.
Well, they're I don't know, they're again based on ideas, not necessarily my story.
Yeah.
This is on a windy night, a figure walks to Jumbo's Clown Room. Jumbo's Clown Room is a real place in
It says
LA.
strip bar, isn't
It's
it?
a strip bar. And so this came out of, that.
It's kind of a relic, the last of the funky strip bars in LA, I think.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah.
Oh God, Mom, the dog, he bited me.
Definitely a child's drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dog down there.
That's the dog, and then there's the figure, which
Yeah,
looks like a bloody head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a kid, on his way quickly home.
Yeah. Again, on page 228, shadow of a twisted hand across my house. These are very paranoid, but...
Yeah, there's like mood things.
Well, it's odd because you had a really wonderful childhood. So...
But these things, like, they say, on the surface. Mm-hmm. This is a Boise, Idaho. That's where I lived from 3rd grade through 8th grade.
Those are critical years.
Yeah, and I really love Boise, Idaho a lot.
Yeah, there's an actual drawing of the state in here.
Right.
What's
and
your most vivid memory of Boise, Idaho?
It's just a vivid memory.
Just when you think of it, what do you picture in your mind?
Euphoric 50s chrome optimism.
That's a beautiful phrase. Now, page 230, it's Here I Am, Me as a House from 1990. Now, I remember when these paintings were exhibited. Most of these are in private collections now, aren't they?
I'm not sure. I think these I have.
Really?
Yeah. And she was crying just outside the house. That's another neighborhood story.
Suddenly my house became a tree of sores on page 232. So that idyllic suburban thing just went south, I guess.
It's a lot of times you'll see houses as you go by, slowly by, and you can wonder what goes on in them in the daytime or what goes on them
What
in the
hellish
nighttime.
reality is unfurling in there.
Or beautiful.
I love this one, A Bug Dreams of Heaven, on page 233. But you don't think bugs have souls, right?
No, I don't know. This bug is dreaming of heaven. Yeah.
Okay. She wasn't fooling on anyone. She was hurt bad.
She was
hurt and she was hurt bad. Sorry.
Right.
1992 on page 234. Can you tell me anything about that one?
No, it's just another neighborhood story.
Oh, so this is all the same neighborhood.
Pretty much, I'd say.
Okay. On page 235, Billy finds a book of riddles right in his own backyard. That's a good one. Is this around the time that you started affixing cotton and things to this?
Yes, exactly right.
How did that stuff age?
Really good.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So
Holds up.
it does it? Yeah, I wondered what would happen. You were really building out those canvases.
I wanted to build out, yeah.
Yeah, and you
now,
did.
these are flat. This one is, what page is this?
This is page 237, and it's My Head is Disconnected. Is this a watercolor?
These are temperas on board.
How big?
About 40 by 40, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Maybe 4-foot squares, I'm not sure.
Okay, this is Schizophrenic Man. It's undated.
That's the same.
Obviously the same series, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How do you like your work presented? I mean,
Well,
framed?
We'll get into that when we get further along in the paintings, but I saw a show of Francis Bacon's at the Marlborough Gallery in 66, I think. 66 or 67. And they were all framed, wide gold frames with glass.
With glass.
Yeah, and they were, I always wanted to frame stuff that way.
So there wasn't a reflection problem?
There just didn't seem to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't bothersome if it was. And this one, we're back to watercolors. This is a little bit bigger.
Some of these will be in the exhibition, right?
All of these are.
Oh, okay. Well, you can frame them that way. Damn it.
Well, it costs a fortune to frame them that way. And these are all watercolors. I really like these watercolors.
Yeah, these are beautiful. This is page 242 and 243.
I think this is an homage to Bacon, this man with the dog.
Yeah.
I think he had a painting, something like that.
Yeah.
And this is back houses and airplanes.
Yeah, this one, 243, you have the way you draw airplanes always reminds me of the sound of when you're a kid, the drone of an airplane.
I love the drone of an airplane.
Going through this, it seems like it goes so slow.
They did go slower.
They must
and
have.
they droned on, and it was such a beautiful sound.
I don't think I've heard that sound in ages.
Right.
Yeah, too bad. Okay, 244. That looks like a cabin that's sunk under the sea, and then
that's a house, just a house.
And a figure in some distress.
And this is rain. This is a cardboard tee. I think that might have been in, I'm not sure if it was in James Corcoran's
I think
show.
it was, yeah. What is that made out of? Is that tempera?
That's oil
Okay.
on canvas.
That's on page 248.
This is one of my favorite paintings.
Tell me about. Oh, it's a fantastic title. A figure witnessing the orchestration of time from early 1990s. Say something about that one. That's one of the ones built up, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you put into the surface?
Well, it's oil and cotton and glue and gauze and wire. There's a wire frame floating in front of this. It's real nice.
What do you like particularly about this?
I just like the feel of it and the paint on it.
Yeah, it's very fertile and mulchy and rich.
I like this next one too.
Yeah.
This is a part of the Bob series. And it's because of wayward activity based upon unproductive thinking, Bob meets Mr. Redman.
It's a good title. That says it all. So this would be Mr. Redman is in here. Very satanic sort of creature, like twice the size of poor Bob. Where's the setting? Are they indoors or out?
They might be in a room.
Yeah.
This is Bob's Dream.
Yeah.
It's called.
And this one looks built up too.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
different things in there.
Yeah.
There's real money in it.
Oh, interesting.
Bob Burns' Tree.
Is there anything embedded in that one?
Many things.
Oh, this is a great painting, 254 and 255.
Bob finds himself in a world for which he has no understanding. The story of our lives.
Yeah, the painting really evokes that. It's just this kind of lost figure in this looming, rather bleak forest landscape. And on the side of the paintings, there are these two bands that almost look like
curtains.
a curtain.
Those are
Yeah.
curtains. They
Yeah.
are curtains.
Yeah. Oh, now this is really interesting. At this point, the paintings open up and become all horizontal.
Yeah, these are big paintings.
Yeah.
10 feet. They're the golden rectangle size. There's 16:9
Yeah.
paintings, but they're 10 feet wide.
So are these kind of collaged? It looks like there's photographic images in there and the couch. So how did you make these?
Those are printed prints and painting both, and glue.
So would you silk
And
screen
that's
image?
real clothes.
Oh, wow. This must be huge.
It's pretty big.
Where is it?
It's in Paris now.
Is it? The shipping must have
And
been
it's framed.
Really?
It's framed in the gold with glass
Under
in
glass?
front. Yes.
Oh, wow. It must be amazing.
It's beautiful.
So what are the dimensions of this?
10 foot by 6 foot approximately.
Wow. That's incredible. And this one too?
That one as well.
Yeah. What all do you have embedded in this one? Are those real clothes again?
Those are real clothes.
Wow. Do these paintings take a long time to do?
Oh, yeah, forever.
Yeah. And this is one of those.
This is one of those too.
Very Francis Bacon. It's the shape of
Sure,
that couch.
uh-huh.
That's his shape. This looks like that sculpey. What's that stuff?
No, it's glue.
So it's a figure created out of glue pressed onto the surface?
It's right on the surface, yeah.
Wow. That's not a real Princess telephone, is it?
It's a photo of one.
Okay. Yeah. So this one's great. Oh, and okay, now we're at what I think is the last one of these really large paintings.
Right,
It's on page 262 and 263. Does this have actual light bulbs in it?
It has light bulbs in it.
Yeah, it's a man out walking his dog. And I thought, God, it's like it's turning into a Rauschenberg combine or something with light bulbs. And so this is a lot of photographic imagery in there.
Right. That's
Okay.
Wajunga Red Dog.
Yeah.
That's the little red dog.
Yeah. Well, that's a beauty. Okay, now we're on some stills from
Twin Peaks
Twin
Fire Walk with
Peaks.
Me.
Do you miss doing television?
No.
Why not?
Well,
Too much torture?
it's you know,
Committee.
no.
No?
It's just eat you up.
Yeah. Okay, then we're on stills from
Lost
Highway. These are beautiful stills.
it's
And the
just-
straight story. Okay, now we're to industrial photographs of Poland. Poland seems to resonate in some really deep place with you.
well, the factories.
It's not
And-
because of Poland, it's just because of the factories are
And
there.
these aren't all necessarily Poland. This ladder It could be in Germany. It could be in New York.
Well, that's gorgeous.
And we turn the pages. Now, I think some of these are New York.
This is
or New
282 and
Jersey.
83. Well, you have a section just of industrial landscapes in Brooklyn. What is it that thrills you about the ruins of the Industrial Revolution?
Well, look at them. And they're like the watercolors, you know, and the way nature goes to work on the steel, the bricks, the concrete. It's just unbelievably beautiful. A new factory is a beautiful thing, but an aged factory, from all the work they've done, the work makes so many stains and disturbances and all this stuff, and then nature on top of that. It's a phenomenal setup for textures.
And they're very fragile because I'm sure all the Polish people would love to tear them down and put something new there.
Well, they're cathedrals, and they're built so beautifully.
This is 286 and 287. They look like interiors of factories?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it hard to get in there to photograph? You just wander in?
No, it's you got to get set up to go in and take pictures.
Yeah.
This what page is this?
This is page 288.
That's New York or New Jersey.
Okay. Do you light these pictures?
But beyond the beyond.
You do light them?
Love them.
But no, do you light them? Like when you go into shoot
do I light
something
them?
like
I
this?
thought you said you like them.
Yeah, I like them too. But
No.
it's just found light?
You gotta, I've gone in and tried to light some, and it just looks terrible. It's whatever light is eking in, that's the light.
So you'd have a hard time finding these in California?
But there's some great factories in California. You could find incredible textures in California, downtown and all around.
In Fontana and Colton and all the horrible inland
Now, see
empire.
this thing. What page is that?
Page 294.
That's a watercolor. It's like, it's just, and the shapes. It's a dance. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable
Yeah.
that these things exist like this. And they're just like, it's like music. This here on what page is 297?
297.
It's in a hospital in New Jersey, I believe.
A working hospital?
No, this part is shut down, but look at that lamp.
Yeah, that's
For
amazing.
like autopsies or certain kind of, it's in a theater for medical students.
Right, the old-fashioned kind.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Are you the only person who's photographed these?
I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure many people have photographed them.
The only other person who I've ever seen come close is Bernd and Hilla Bescher, and they do it. You know those German photographers?
No, I don't know.
Well, they
them.
photograph in Germany. In the 70s, they started photographing like water towers, and they'd photograph every type of water tower in Germany. You'd probably like their work, but I don't know anybody else who photographs these factories.
Now, see this one. What page is that?
Page 300.
This is. Look at the
Yeah.
chain and the fan and the glass
Yeah.
and the figures. It's just
Yeah.
a black and white. How can that happen? It's so beautiful.
Yeah, this one
And
too.
there's Mondrian, deals.
301. You would never photograph these in color?
No.
Okay. I wonder what that says. 302. It's some kind of a metal plate
I
in
think that's
Germany.
German, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This might be in New York.
That looks just like garbage.
It is garbage.
Okay. It looked like a
And this here is just a painted glass, aged,
Wow.
but it's just
That's page 304.
and then all this 305 nature has done the do.
Do you think all things are beautiful as they decay, or only some things?
All things are.
People are considered horrible when they decay.
Well, because, like I say, when you name the thing, that's when the problems start. If you just saw a close-up of something, you'd say, oh, my God, that's so beautiful. What is that? And you say, that's a decaying body of a 97-year-old woman. And then you'd have another thought.
I see.
But alone, it could be
Yeah.
unnamed. It could be very beautiful.
I guess we recoil from those things because it's a reminder of our own mortality,
Yeah.
whereas we're not connected that way to a factory. On page 309, it's an amazing photograph of a woman's eye. Do you know who that is? Mm-hmm. Who is that?
That's my daughter.
Oh, that's Jennifer? Mm-hmm. It's a great picture. Wow. And then 310 and 311. 311 is a self-portrait, a picture you took of yourself, and it looks like in a motel mirror.
I don't know where it is, but it could be in Germany.
Have you taken many self-portraits?
No.
Because, there's one. I assume this is one.
No, that's someone else took that of me.
Huh. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice photo. Now we're at industrial photographs in Brooklyn, starting on page 315. Where is that? It looks like you're in a forest.
And I'm in a forest, and I'm in a car, and I'm driving up a straight road, and Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's house is at the end of that road.
Wow. He lives in Brooklyn?
No, he lives in, this is from Vlodrop, Netherlands.
Looks like a very long road.
Yeah, it's a long road.
Did you stay there?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been wonderful. So now we do come to a series of pictures of Brooklyn, and one thing I notice about them is there's no people ever in any of them. Do you think the true essence of a city comes out best when there's no people around?
No. I wouldn't mind a person in front of them.
Yeah.
It's mostly the shapes of the non-person's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
This Monroe Buddies.
Yeah, that's great.
I really like that place a lot. I always thought about who are the Monroe Buddies.
Yeah, this is just like a local tavern, I guess, on page 320. Did you go inside?
No. That's in New Jersey, the surgical building. Uh-huh. And that was one of the telephones in the hall.
Uh-huh, page 322.
This is in Los Angeles. That's a Coke bottle. They have many, many, many variations of what the Coke bottle has gone through.
Uh-huh. Is that a classic?
They're all classics.
But that one looks... No, actually, the first one seemed a little more squat.
Yeah, but I don't know where this is in the series. Mm-hmm. But you can see that I think Raymond Loewy designed the classic Coke bottle.
You're kidding.
And it's based on the human figure.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Those are New Jersey. This here on page
325.
325 is...
That looks like your house.
That's in the Wiltern Theater.
It has the feeling of your house.
Sort of.
Those curves. Yeah.
This thing here on page 327, that is like one of those kind of lucky things.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
A shard of glass that fell out of a window, and it's the light in this is so strange. What made the shard of glass turn black?
What it was reflecting. Uh-huh. And it's just kind of I just,
And then this muted, cloud coming in. Where'd you take that?
I don't know where that was.
Yeah. These all look
This
East
is
Coast.
Wajunga Red Dog background.
Oh, yeah. So you worked from a photo with that one. And you shot that in New York.
That's in New York.
That's obviously
These
in New York.
are New York.
Do you like New York?
It's a painting town. Uh-huh. I think about painting when I go there.
Yeah.
And photographs are great in New York.
Yeah, it's a big art city.
It's unbelievably beautiful for that.
Okay.
This is New York.
Okay. Page 333.
Yeah.
It looks like a concentration camp with that barbed wire. Welcome to New York.
There's a lot of that feeling in New York.
Yeah.
This is from somewhere across the river.
Oh, I see. Right. This page 334. That's lovely.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
And then this is just, more buildings.
Yeah. Brick.
This is a fast trip by graffiti.
Oh, that's really interesting. This is page 336. That's graffiti from a car? Mm-hmm. Oh, now we have stills from Mulholland Drive. This movie and your last one are about the travails of a starlet. What is it that moves you about that predicament?
Los Angeles as a home for the beginning of, maybe it wasn't the beginning, but it was, the golden age of cinema, and the countless girls who came, and I mean, it's got to be 10 million stories, and
All sad.
no, some of them are, but probably a
Most
small
of them.
percentage that are very happy.
Yeah.
But it just makes you dream. Ideas come out of a place, and ideas come out of this history.
Did you actually spend any time in the Inland Empire to create the world of Inland
No,
Empire?
it has. I just love the name.
Yeah. Yeah, these are Mulholland Drive. Oh, now we're to the distorted nudes, which some of them look like, on page 345, they look like Polaroids that are manipulated, are they?
No, these are from a book called 1,000 Nudes. The gentleman who put the book together found huge amount of anonymous photographs.
Did Taschen do that book?
I'm not sure who
Yeah.
did it. So I would scan them in and distort them. And this is when I was learning, Photoshop. So these are my first kind of things, but it's just a euphoric kind of study.
Do you still make these?
Yeah, well, I've been working on the film, so
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to do these,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much. I love them.
How big are they? You print them out on your
These
big printer?
I made a book of them, and they're 12 inches by 12 inches, but the black part,
Is
so
part of
they
it.
they float inside.
I see. So I see that you were able to inject like your shapes and your letters and everything.
Yes,
That's pretty advanced Photoshop.
but they're all,
Yeah.
different things going on.
Yeah, some of them are pretty violent, do you think?
Some are, yeah.
Like a woman holding her own head. They're very beautiful, though. Well, what would make you be drawn to one nude as opposed to another? There were 1,000 in this book, and these are the ones you
I would
picked.
look at them and see at least a starting point for distortion.
I mean, some of them are distorted, so there's just almost a disembodied limb. There's one in here that made me think of Joel Peter Whitkin. Do you like his work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a woman with a monkey head. What made you do that, David? And that one reminds me of John Merrick a little on page 359. Is that Kiki of Montparnasse? Isn't that Man Ray's photo?
I don't know.
Yeah, on page 360, I think it is.
I don't know if it is.
Yeah. This one, 361, that's beautiful. Did you say you published a book of these? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a little known
How
fact.
is this distorted? That looks like a straight photo.
You'd have to see the original. These legs, weren't.
Oh, I see.
like that.
Okay. Duh. Yes, it's definitely distorted.
And these things coming down, and many things.
Okay. Yeah, that's fascinating. That's the one that's kind of 369, kind of Joel Peter Whitkin-y, a woman holding her head. Would you ever want to do what he does, like go into a morgue and make a still life arrangement of body parts?
I wouldn't want to rearrange them.
You wouldn't want to handle them.
No, it's not that I wouldn't want to touch them. It's just that I would like to do a study of that, whatever was there.
Yeah. Have you been to the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia? That's
With
the medical museum.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Because that seems like... Oh, 371, I love this one. It's like a woman levitating.
If there's a Joel Peter Whitkin one more like his, this head here is more like his.
Yeah, this one definitely reminded me of him.
370.
That one's really fascinating on 373. Did you put some color into some of these?
No, this
That's
one.
just the way they were.
I might have tweaked the color, but this one was in color, I believe.
Yeah. Do you find these disturbing at all?
No.
Tough guy, eh?
No. It's a different kind of.
Yeah.
It's like shapes.
Yeah, they're very sensual.
And they get into because many of them are old. They got a thing happening. So the distortions, they come from another time, another kind of place, a whole another world.
Yeah. Well, all the props and the settings.
Right.
And, yeah.
Now these are
your straight nudes, I think. Just nudes, yeah.
nudes. So,
385.
I've got so many of these. So this is Hervé picking through things.
What do you look for? I mean, do you hire models to photograph?
Yes.
What makes you want to photograph a woman?
Well, it's endless, shapes
Yeah.
and light on shapes. And this one here, the first one here on page 385, this is nudes and smoke. So all of them, those,
Yeah.
there's a series. Not now on the second one here on 386, that's not a nudes and smoke. These are just nudes.
That's a gorgeous one on 389. Is that someone you know, or just a
That's
model?
a model.
It's a great picture. You could almost make the case that the model's almost irrelevant because it's so much about the way you pose and light them.
They're not irrelevant.
No?
Because they add the way the light goes on them. It gives you so many ideas, and each one it conjures up a different thing. But I love these photos.
Yeah.
I love these photos.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
This one here, I don't know why everybody picked this one, but anyway, it's still nice. The curtains on
It's not one of your favorites?
397. Well, I like it. I like it. I like more abstraction.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is the least abstract of all of them. Are you still making these kind of work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get into, what is that, 400? It goes into a different thing.
Well, this is like a galaxy on 401, it totally transcends what you're working with.
And there's a mood, even when they're wider out, something comes out.
Yeah. A color one
Now
on
we're
405.
getting into color.
Is that the only color one in here?
No, there's more
Oh,
color
yeah,
ones.
yeah. These have a lot of red in them. Is that how you print them?
Yes, and they had a lot of red in them.
Oh, that's a beauty on 408. You shoot digitally?
Now, these are film.
How
These
come
are
you
early on.
Do you prefer digital to film?
Yes, now.
Why? Because of the convenience?
No.
You don't think there's anything lost?
Film is too dirty. I mean, I like dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Believe me, but
Yeah.
by the time I scan them and want to go to work on them, I've got to clean so much dirt, and the dirt isn't adding to it; it's subtracting from it. So, I like to shoot digitally, then tweak them.
So these don't look manipulated at
No,
all.
these
these
aren't.
are the film, yeah. On 413, 415.
415. See, there's things going on with from burned out to black,
Yeah, that's a beautiful
and a
one.
lot of things can happen.
Yeah,
They just turn into abstractions.
yeah. Do you think that the male form has the same potential for beauty?
Not to me,
Yeah.
but I
somebody,
think for
I
some,
guess.
for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I think both forms are beautiful, but
This is your favorite.
yeah, I haven't gotten into men.
Okay. Do you ever photograph your friends this way?
Not really.
Okay. Is this a man?
No, that's a woman.
It looks like she has a beard.
No, it's just texture.
Oh, that's beautiful on 424. Now here's stills from Inland Empire, starting with Laura. She just got the part. Laura Dern. And there's your interior. Yeah.
Those are the only stills there.
The last thing is this. Oh, there's the. Oh, yeah. Here's a great picture on 434 of David and his father. I thought that was you. I thought you were your father. That looks exactly like you.
That's my dear dad.
He looks so sweet. He looks very happy.
He's a really good, sweet guy.
Yeah.
He's 91 now, just turned 91.
Is he still in Nebraska?
No, he's in Riverside in the Inland Empire.
So you do know the Inland Empire a
Well,
little.
I know it,
Yeah.
This picture was taken, I believe, in Sandpoint, Idaho.
This isn't your house, is it?
No, but it might be the neighbor's house.
This is a picture of David and his father collecting wood, which is something David continues to do, isn't it?
It's a wood life.
Yeah.
And I can smell that wood.
Yeah, it's a nice smell. Okay, the last body of work in here are...
Now, this is Boise, Idaho, where the snowmen... Hervé had a thing about these snow. I did too, but
Yeah.
now...
How long ago did you take these pictures?
92.
These are pictures of snowmen that grow progressively more distorted and disturbed.
But this is in Boise, Idaho, in an older section of Boise, and obviously in the winter. So, but when you think about these snowmen, were so beautiful,
Yeah.
and they'd been there for a little while. So they're, and again, nature's going to work on them.
Yeah, definitely. 448, he's still intact. 450, he's kind of running out of gas. And by the time we get to the
But
next
look at the
one-
houses too,
Yeah.
and mood in there.
It's that, yeah, those windows. 452.
And this is an alien.
Yeah.
It's an alien.
And the last one is just, that's so sad on 456.
It's incredible because it makes you dream.
It's just, I wonder if that was ever a recognizable snowman.
I don't know.
It's just, man defying the elements, rising up.
Well, Kristine,
So that's
by
the
golly,
book.
we went through the book.
Yes, we did.
I sure want to thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.